We are now starting a new topic of Vyakaranam. This topic is called the Vibhaktyartha Prakaranam. Let us first refresh our memory as to what is Vibhakti. Panini defines the term Vibhakti by the Sutram 14104, which says Vibhaktischa. The Sutram we have studied. The meaning of this Sutram is the 21 sup-affixes, the nominal case endings listed in the Sutram 412, so, just, some, out, etc., and the 18 thing affixes, the verbal endings listed in 3478, which is tip, tash, ji, etc., get the designation of Vibhakti. Now, we've already studied the thing affixes in detail, so those will not again be the topic of this Vibhaktyartha Prakaranam. So, what we will be talking about in this Vibhaktyartha Prakaranam is the sup-affixes, the meaning conveyed by the sup-affixes. Under what conditions are the various sup-affixes to be used? So, therefore, this Prakaranam is also sometimes called the Subartha Prakaranam. Subartha Prakaranam. Another name for this Prakaranam is Karaka Prakaranam. What is the meaning of Karakam? Karoti iti Karakam. This term Karaka is derived from the verbal root kru, dukring, karane, adding the affix nul, which we have studied. The affix nul is added by the Sutram 31133, nul trichau. So Karakam is one who participates in the action. Panini defines the various karakani in the adhikara of karake, which he runs from 1423 karake up to 1455. And then many of the vibhakti assignments, they depend on the karaka sanya, which is assigned to that particular participant in the action. So that is why this Prakaranam is also sometimes called the Karaka Prakaranam, because the Karaka labels assigned in 1423 to 1455, the Adhikara of Karake, that becomes the basis for the Vibhakti assignment. Not all the Vibhakti assignments depend on a Karaka Sanya, but many of them do. Now, one good news is that all the rules, all the Sutrani which prescribe the Vibhakti assignments, they're all in one single quarter, one single pada of the Ashtadhyayi, and that is the third quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. So these are the two sections which we'll be focusing on in this Prakaranam. One is the Adhikara of Karake, which goes from 1423 to 1455, and then the entire third quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. Now, before going further, let us remind ourselves that the 21 sup-affixes given in the Sutram 412, so, just, out, and so on, they are divided into sets of 3. So, su, which is singular, ekavachanam, au, which is dual, dvivachanam, and jas, which is plural, bahuvachanam. They are the affixes of the Prathama Vibhakti, and so on and so forth. So there are a total of 7 Sapta Vibhaktayaha: Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, and Saptami. Let us now begin the discussion by looking at the conditions under which the Prathama Vibhakti is to be used. The first sutram which we'll take a look at is 2346, which reads Pratipadikaartha linga pariman vachana matre prathama. The vritti of this sutram first starts by explaining what is Pratipadikaartha. It's a compound which stands for Pratipadikasyartha, the meaning conveyed by the Pratipadikam, which is explained as Niyatopasthitikaha Pratipadikartha. What is the meaning of Niyatopasthitikaha? It means Niyata Nishchita Niyamabaddha va upasthitihi pratitihi yasya, which means that it is that meaning which is always present in that Pratipadikam. Or alternatively, if that meaning is not present, then that Pratipadikam cannot be used. For example, let us take the Pratipadikam go, used in the sense of a cow. Now when we say this is a cow, there is that essential cowness which is present, without which we cannot say that this is a cow. Now let us say that a cow has only one horn. One horn may be broken or lost. Still it is a cow. So having two horns is not essential for being called a cow. Hence the feature of having two horns is not a part of the Pratipadika because it doesn't have niyatopasthiti. Even without a horn or even without both horns, the term cow can certainly be used. But there are some essential features which make a cow, without which it cannot be called a cow. And only those are part of the Pratipadika. That is how Pratipadika is defined. Okay, now in this long compound used in the Sutram 2346, at the end of the compound is the term Matra. And the Siddhanta Kaumudi says, Matra Shabdasya Pratyekam Yogaha, which means that this term Matra connects individually with the prior four terms, which are Pratipadika, Linga, Parimana, and Vachana. To each one of these four, we connect the term Matra. So now the Vritti of the Sutram says, Pratipadika Matre, Linga Matra Dhyadhikye, Sankhya Matre cha Prathama Syat. Which means that a first case affix su, au, or jas is used to denote either only the meaning of the Pratipadikam, Pratipadikam is a nominal stem, or only the additional sense of gender, or only the additional sense of measure, or only number. We just said that this term Matra connects with each of the prior four terms, but then how did we get the meaning of Adhikyam? Because the Vritti says Linga Matra Dhyadhikye. On this the Tattvabodhini commentary says Yadyapi Linga Matre Parimana Matre Ityevaksharaarthas Tathapi Pratipadikaartham Vina Lingadi Pratitera Sambhavaditi Tadadhikya Ityuktam. Which means that even though it is true that literally speaking we should just have Linga Matre and Parimana Matre, but Pratipadika Vina Lingadi Pratitera Sambhavat, which means that without having the basic meaning of the Pratipadikam, it is not possible to have just gender or just measure. So that is why the Vritti says Linga Matra Dhyadhikye, which is Linga Matra Di Adhikye, which is Linga Matra Adhikye athava Parimana Matra Adhikye. So that is why Adhikyam is used, because we cannot have just gender or just measure without the essential meaning of the Pratipadikam. Okay, let's take some examples here to understand these four cases. The first example here is Pratipadika Matre, which means a Prathama Vibhakti affix may be used to denote only the meaning of the Pratipadikam. Example here is Uchchaihi Nichaihi Krishnaha Shrihi Jnanam. The first two of these, Uchchaihi Nichaihi, these are indeclinables. They have the avyaya sanya because the term Uchchais and Nichais is listed in the Swaradiganaha, and by the Sutram 1137 Swaradinipatam avyayam Uchchais as well as Nichais, it's the avyaya sanya. And to these the Prathama Vibhakti affix su is added to denote only the meaning of the Pratipadikam, nothing more than that. So for example, we take Uchchais, add the affix su, and we know that the ending anunasika ukaraha in su gets the it sanya by 132 upadeshe janunasika it, and then tasya lopaha, so we get Uchchais plus sa, and then because of avyad apsupaha, that affix takes the look elision. Avyad apsupaha is 2482. Now the question comes is that why add this affix at all? Couldn't we just leave the Pratipadikam as it is? Because anyway the affix is taking the look elision by 2482 avyad apsupaha. And the answer is that unless and until we add the sup affix, the term uchchais or nichais or any avyayam cannot get the padasanya, because padasanya is by 1414 supting antam padam. And as a general rule, no word can be used in this language unless it has the padasanya. Apadam na prayunjita. Something which doesn't have the padasanya should not be used in the language. One more reason why it is important to get the padasanya is so we can use rules such as 8266 sasajushoruho. For example, uchchair graham. Here we need to apply sasajushoruho, which requires the padasanya, so therefore it is important that we add the affix su, even though it is taking the look elision by 2482, because we have to get the padasanya by 1414 supting antam padam. One more small detail here is that even though the affix su has taken the look elision, because of pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam 1162, there is still a lakshanam even after the look elision, so the padasanya still applies. So this is the reason for applying the affix su to a avyayam even though it takes a look elision by 2482. Okay, before taking the next three examples, let's take a look at the note here, which says alinga niyatalingascha pratipadikaarthamatra ityasyodaharanam. Alingaha niyatalingaha cha pratipadikaarthamatre iti asya udaharanam, which means those pratipadikani, nominal stems, which have no gender, like what we just saw, uchchaihi, nichaihi, or have a fixed gender, are examples of pratipadikaarthamatre, denoting only the meaning of the nominal stem. The next three examples you're looking at here are Krishnaha, Shrihi, Jnanam. These do have a gender. The gender is fixed. Krishnaha is in the masculine gender, Shrihi, feminine gender, Jnanam, neuter. Now, even though Krishna can be an adjective meaning dark, here we are talking about Vasudevaha, Lord Krishna. So this is a pratipadikam which has a fixed gender in this meaning. So the gender is already conveyed by the pratipadikam itself. The affix only conveys the pratipadika artha, which means the meaning of the nominal stem, nothing more than that. So these are the three examples, Krishnaha, Shrihi and Jnanam, in the masculine, feminine and neuter gender respectively. We have derived all these forms before, so we are not doing the derivation of the forms. Those we are very familiar with by now. We are only discussing the justification for using the Prathama Vibhakti. The next class is Lingamatra-adhikye. And there is a note here which says that Aniyatalingastu Lingamatra-adhikyasya udaharanam, which means that those pratipadikani, nominal stems, which have no fixed gender, are examples of Lingamatra-adhikye, denoting only the additional sense of gender. Addition to what? Addition to the meaning of the nominal stem. So here the example is Tataha, Tati, Tatam. Tata is a pratipadikam meaning shore or bank, but it doesn't have a fixed gender. It is used in all three genders. So here the affix, the Prathama Vibhakti, denotes not only the meaning of the nominal stem but also the gender, masculine, feminine or neuter. The third category is Parimana Matra-adhikye, which means to denote only the additional sense of measure. The example given here is Drono Vrihi. Dronaha is a measure of capacity. It was used in the ancient days to measure grains, etc. It is a kind of a wooden or metal tub used as a measurement. Question now comes is that why couldn't we just use the Prathama Vibhakti in the sense of Pratipadika Matre? Why do we need this Parimana Matra-adhikye? To understand this, let us see how the Siddhanta Kaumudi explains the situation. It says, Drona Rupam Yat Parimanam Tat Parichinno Vrihir Ityarthaha, which means that rice or a heap of rice that is measured by the unit of measurement, which is in the form of Dronaha. Now, if we just use the affix su in the sense of Pratipadika Matre, we would not get this connection between the rice and its measurement, which is Dronaha. We would just simply get Dronaha, the meaning of Drona, which is a tub used for measurement, and then we would separately have rice. But now when we say parimana matra adhikye, we understand that this dronaha is that which is measuring the rice. So it is a volume of rice whose measurement is 1 dronaha. So that is the reason given why Panini has a separate category for parimana matra adhikye, which could not be handled by the pratipadika artha matre. And the final fourth category is vachana matre. Here vachanam is given by the commentators as sankhya or number. And examples given are ekaha, dvau, bahavaha. Here we have a situation where the number is already expressed by the pratipadika artha. So the pratipadikam eka already has the notion of singularity in it. So it would not make sense to bring in the prathama ekavachanam affix su to denote the singular of singularity. But we do need to bring in the affix su in this case also. That is why Panini has mentioned the term vachana in this sutram in order that the prathama vibhakti may be used following a pratipadikam which simply denotes a number.